All right, ladies and gentlemen, let the fun begin. Heat number one at Volusia. John Tobias and Kelly Wheeler on the front row. Pat Boyce and Greg Boydell on the second row. Roger Craig rounds out the field for heat number one. Everybody getting stacked up on the grid with the pace car. And if I'm not mistaken, in one of the iRacing updates, they did specify that pace car actually does have dirt tires to get around the track. You gotta hand it to iRacing. They do every detail possible. As accurate and realistic as possible in everything they do. That's why a lot of NASCAR and F1 teams use iRacing for testing and practice. Now, Volusia is one of those tracks. The second the pace car hits that gap in turn 4, Barney the flagman will wave the flag. They will go green immediately. Does make things interesting in the heats. Will definitely be interesting for the feature. Speaking of which, it does look like, based on the time, we will likely see the feature under the lights. But here we go for Heat 1. Pace car to the inside. He is in. Green flag is in the air. Heat 1 at Volusia underway. We mentioned these cars do drive completely different than the 360s they drove last week, which has shaken up the field just a little bit. Wow, and holy cow, Pat Boyce lost a wheel. His left front is gone. It's still on the track. Meanwhile, John Tobias out front, Kelly Wheeler in second, Roger Craig in third, Greg Boydell in fourth. Buffalo, shoot me a message. I might be able to help you out, buddy. Kelly Wheeler just set the fastest lap so far, but still behind Tobias. Out of turn 2, down the back straightaway. Wheeler looking to the high side, trying to get the run. He shoots to the bottom. Out of turn 4, white flag flies. They are side by side at the front. And Wheeler clears. Tobias went just a little too hard. Now he's going to send it in. Can they get it done? It's going to be close at the line. John Tobias gets the win at the line. Wow, what a close finish. Here we go, Heat 2. Terry Landis and last week's winner, Pops Moore on the front row, John Rayner, and Armando Melgosa on the second row. Mayor Bixler has the third row. Interesting note, you'll note those nicknames that they have in there, like Mayor Bixler and Pops Moore. They have their names set that way in the league, so you can't even tell what some of their real first names are. I love it, by the way. I support more leagues doing stuff like that. Except for C12 Motorsports, we know what happens when they start doing nicknames. Alright, here we come. They get the 1 to green from Barney. Pop's going up there through that looser dirt on his pace laps. Gotta wonder if he's got a strategy in doing that. I've never seen that really done before. And here we go, pace car about to drop back in. There he goes. Green flag is in the air for Heat 2. Side by side into turn 1, John Rayner. Wow. Looked like he may have gotten a bump from the mayor back behind. They are 3 wide through 3 and 4. Rayner pulls up into second. Moore and Bixler side by side. Moore up top, and he's got a run at it too. Right into the back bumper there. 3 wide through 3 and 4. Pops Moore is second at the line. Gutsy pass by Pops while they're battling. Terry Landis is pulling away. This has definitely been a week of gutsy passes. It's not the first time this week we have seen somebody shoot up the middle 3 or 4 wide and make it work. The rest of the week, hopefully that trend continues. Pops already to Landis' back bumper. Bixler still right there behind him. Rayner and Armando battling it out back behind. As here they come, white flag flies. One more time around, Pops to the bottom. Pops sends it through 1 and 2 and is taking the lead. Oh, but he slows down. And Bixler will pull off the win with the last lap pass. All right, the drivers have a few minutes to warm up after that race. I think we all need to catch our breath. Willie, I'm curious about that too. The only thing I can think is that Moore, when he made the pass for the lead, may have bumped the other car because we saw it go up the track. And being gentlemanly, he slowed down to let him back by. I have seen that done in leagues in the past, so remember, all these drivers are 55 and older in the Retreads League, so all of them show a ton of respect, a lot of clean racing, and a whole lot of decency out there. Well, I will tell you this, and folks, I have seen that happen only a couple of times, but the league I have seen that kind of thing happen with the most, GT3 NSS on Sunday mornings. quite often, if one of those guys accidentally knocks another competitor off track, they will stop and let that person back by. It is great to see this group of guys showing that kind of class. That is going to make it harder for Pops in the feature. But man, that was a really awesome move. All right, just a few seconds left for the feature, but folks, don't forget it is a triple header night. Right after this, they'll be in the trucks at Talladega, and later tonight, the Xfinity cars at Dover. We saw the Xfinity cars at Dover earlier this week, and man, we are in for a show tonight. All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. The feature from Volusia. John Tobias and Mayor Bixler on the front row. Kelly Wheeler and Terry Landis on the second row. Roger Craig, Pops Moore on the third row. Greg Boydell and John Rayner on the fourth row. Pat Boise and Armando Melgosa rounding out the field. Pace car rolls off. Track is starting to slick up there in the middle. And looks like Mayor Bixler is moving to the end of the line. So that's going to put Tobias and Landis on the front row here. As Barney gives them the 1 to green here at Volusia. And we saw two very competitive heats, but now you put everybody out there. Things are going to get exciting very quickly. Take a deep breath, folks. You may not get another chance for the next 25 laps. All right, here we go through 3 and 4. Pace car is in. Green flag is in the air. They're underway at Volusia. This is such a... Whoa, we've got 3 wide coming out of turn 2, almost 4 wide at one point. This is definitely a fun track as a broadcaster, but man, not nearly as fun as this track is in the car. John Tobias still has the lead, but Kelly Wheeler and Pops Moore battling up front. They're 3 wide for the lead. Pop slides up. He's going to take it. Greg Boydell now in third. We've got cars flying on the backstretch. Caution is out for the first time. Looks like John Tobias and Roger Craig involved. Let's see what happened. There they were, 3 wide. The car in the middle just bumps, pushes up. Wow, at least 2 drivers lost their wheels. Holy cow, that was a rough one. At the time of caution, Pops had the lead. Greg Boydell did set the fastest lap on the last green flag lap, the fastest lap so far. Looks like everybody is repaired back out on track. Roger Craig has dropped back, as has John Tobias. After that trip to pit road, as they begin to stack back up, getting ready for the green. Here we go, pace car is in. Green flag is in the air. Pops gets off the line like a bullet. Greg Boydell still right there in second. Kelly Wheeler in third. John Rayner starting to make his way up through traffic. Rayner now in sixth. Roger Craig back in 7th, Tobias in 8th. They've got a lot of ground to make up after the caution. Greg Boydell at the lead for the moment. Kelly Wheeler, Pops Moore, both still right there, inches off each other's bumpers. These cars do not take a bump from behind very well, but those side panels, they do a bit of slamming. Wheeler trying to set up the move on Boydell. At the moment, he gets right to his bumper. Wheeler's been trying to use that top line to get the momentum around. Meanwhile, Pops has dropped back into third and losing a little bit of ground. Pat Boyce now up into fourth, closing in. Harry Landis has gone to pit road. He's rolling back out. I'm not sure. It looks like it may have been a connection problem. Pops Moore back there in third at a very close call as he came out of turn 4. There is that gap to come into pit road, and it's never a surprise to see somebody down by the wall just get one of those tires. Pat Boyce now up into fourth, right on Pops' bumper, and Bixler closing in. Boydell still has the lead. Wheeler in second. They have pulled a bit of a gap on the cars behind. John Tobias has fought his way back up into sixth, but he's got a lot of ground to make up. Roger Craig and Armando battling it out back behind as well. John Rayner trying to close the gap also. Landis, unfortunately, several laps down. He is hoping for a caution and an opportunity to get back to the lead lap. And for the first time, Greg Boydell has pulled away just a little bit as Roger Craig has had a problem. Caution is back out. Roger definitely having a rough night tonight. Let's see what happened. Oh, Roger just trying to carry as much momentum as possible off of turn 4, gets the wall, and then ends up wall sliding just a little bit. Roger did manage to get off the wall and got to pit road for repairs. Kelly Wheeler now in second, Pops Moore in third, Pat Boyce in fourth, Mayor Bixler in fifth. Landis getting one of his laps back here. Looks like actually this will be his second lap back. Will they take enough time to get him all the way back to the lead lap? Remember last week at Daytona, they made sure to finish with the majority of the field on the lead lap in the final fight. When it comes to sportsmanship, this group does one heck of a job. Lights are out. They will go single file for the restart. And here they come. Pace car is in. Green flag is in the air, back underway. Bixler back there in fifth is in a really nice spot. We didn't get a chance to do it last week, so let's take a lap or two in car and see what he's seeing. There you see him off into 1 and 2. Seeing them battle side by side just ahead as they come down the backstretch into 3 and 4. Kick the car sideways. He gets the inside wall. And caution is back out. Bixler and Landis apparently both involved. See what happened. There's Bixler as he comes into 3 and 4 at a big run. We got a little too sideways and Landis had nowhere to go. And ouch! Looks like Landis apparently lost a wheel. Richie, I have to agree, man, they are sending it on the dirt tonight. A few of the drivers did get to pit road, and Landis getting some more laps back. He may very well be on the lead lap for the final battle here. The lights are out. They are stacked back up, single file. That's all right, Richie. I can't spell any night. Kelly Wheeler in control. Pace car is in. Green flag in the air. And Kelly gets a great jump on him this time. Greg Boydell in second. Pops Moore currently in third, but Pat Boise right behind. Tobias not far back either. Wheeler headed into 3 and 4. He'll get 5 to go this time. Greg Boydell right behind him in second. Started back in 7th. He has had one heck of a run to get up here to the front. John Tobias, despite that early setback, is already back up into 5th. With 4 to go, and Wheeler starting to pull a bit of a gap. Boydell has one heck of a charge going to get up here, but I don't know if he's got enough left to take the lead. And here they come, out of turn 4, 2 laps to go at Volusia. Kelly Wheeler still out front. The field separating by a couple of car lengths all the way around the track. Out of turn 4, the white flag flies one more time around. Wheeler started in third, quickly took the lead, and hasn't looked back since. And out of turn 4, Kelly Wheeler will pull off the win at Volusia. Greg Boydell coming home in second. Pops Moore coming home in third. Definitely a bumpy night for a few of the drivers, but a great job and great performance by all. Now we'll talk to the top 3 here in just a moment, but folks, that's just race 1. We're going to Dega in a few minutes. All right, just waiting on our top 3. Don't forget, folks, we still have trucks at Talladega, Xfinity at Dover tonight. All right, let's see if we can get a word with the top 3, starting with Pops. All right.
Good race, Brian.
Hey, guys, great job tonight. And, Pops, I'll start with you. We saw you just about dominate your heat, but then on the last lap, you pretty much stopped and didn't pull off the win. Well, everybody in the comments was curious why.
Well, I got into that corner, and I kind of slid up a little higher than I expected to. And I noticed that Terry kind of went up the track. So I didn't know if I put a fender in there on him or a right rear. And I didn't want to win the race that way. So I just kind of gave her a lift going down the back straightaway because I didn't feel right about that pass.
Well, I have to tell you, that is what everybody suspected. That's what I thought as well, given the way it looked coming out of turn 2. And I have to say, you got some great comments from the fans tonight. That was some great sportsmanship. You come home in third in the feature. That's just one heck of a night overall.
Well, I got saved by that late caution in that feature there. I think Pat Boyce got by me there. He was getting by me, but that caution came out before we got a lap in, so it gave me the spot back, and then I was able to hold on to it. I didn't mess up and give him the bottom after that. So, yeah.
Well, it definitely
I learned
worked.
my lesson.
You definitely did. It definitely worked, man. Congratulations. Is there anybody you'd like to thank tonight?
Oh, just who is the sponsor tonight? I didn't even look to see.
But hang on, I've got it. I had it.
Uh-oh.
Maurer Farm Maintenance and I just went blank on the second one.
A&J Customs, Maurer Farms. Hey, thanks to them for sponsoring. If that's who it was, give a shout out to the guys in Discord there with me, and give you a thumbs up for your broadcast here. Appreciate you doing that.
Well, my pleasure. Great job tonight, man. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Greg, I have to say, biggest mover of the night. You started in 7th, but you weren't there very long. I think you were up on the podium positions by about the 5th lap and never gave anything up after that.
Yeah, it was a good run. We had a little issue there in the heat race, but we got over it, and there was lots of grip left on the bottom, and yeah, I had a good time, and Kelly ran a good race with me, so yeah, it was a good night overall.
You mentioned the grip. I noticed this track, usually Volusia, I don't know if it's the most recent update, usually Volusia slicks off a lot quicker than what we saw tonight, and that definitely seemed to impact the race and keep you guys closer together and fighting harder.
Yeah, you're right. Well, what did we have? 10 or 11 cars, so we didn't have a lot of cars, so I think that attributed some to it, and I set the race up so we were out here first thing in the morning in the fresh dew, so.
Well, it definitely made a difference, man. Biggest mover of the race. Great job getting there. Anybody you'd like to thank tonight?
We want to thank you for coming on board, Doug. You've been doing a good job so far, and Steve Moyer and Moyer Farm Management, and the Masked Avenger, who's looking after the next race, and Ashwegan Speedway.
Well, man, great job, buddy. Congrats.
Thanks, Doug.
And Kelly, what more can I say? Like in the first 3 laps, you went from 3rd to 1st, and then just never looked back. You had a few guys get underneath, a few guys look high, but you seem to have that middle line dialed, and that's where the speed was tonight.
Yeah, it was pretty good. I can't. I don't know. Once Greg got by me, and he was on the bottom, I knew the bottom was a little bit quicker, but I just kept running the middle to the top, and the caution came out, and we went down the straightaway there, and I was underneath him there, and we kind of rubbed a little bit there, getting in turn 3 maybe, and went a few laps there, and had a caution, and I started out in front, so I knew the bottom was a little bit quicker, so I just stayed on the bottom.
Well, it definitely worked out in your favor. That was one heck of a win tonight, and man, you did it in style too. That was a really impressive run, especially on that last restart. You managed to check out and be gone fairly quickly, so great race tonight. Congratulations. Anybody you'd like to thank?
Well, first of all, I got to thank Boydell and Brian for running we ran a pretty clean race. It's pretty good and exciting. I got to thank my wife for letting me do this. Anytime I decide I want to do it, she never complains a bit. I got to thank the guys at FTM for letting me hang out with them, run with them, be in their Discord and stuff. They help me get a little bit better all the time. I got to thank Ingersoll Rand, DNS Side and Remodeling. I got to thank Coast to Coast for giving us a good place to race. And I got to thank you for doing this broadcasting and stuff.
Well, man, great job. And now on to Talladega, guys. Good luck. Well, the drivers will make the quick drive to Talladega. And, folks, we're going to go and get Talladega set up. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back in just a few moments in Alabama. And folks, get ready. It's going to be a doozy. Stick around, everybody.